Good. We're not live yet. Oh, it is. Now it is live.
Now we're live. Hello
We
and
are.
welcome. Yay. Happy Saturday, everyone, and welcome to a Saturday cosmic cup of tea and conversation here on the Dallas Psychic Fair Facebook page. Say that 12 times, kiddos. We are so happy you're joining us whenever and however you're joining us, because we know these videos live forever. And if you're joining us live, give a little shout. I'll be jumping over to the page really quickly to say hi to everybody. And today I have the pleasure and the joy and the delight of sharing another one of our Dallas Psychic Fair readers with you. Her name is Amy Hamilton. You might know her, but you might not. So hi, Amy.
Hi. I'm so happy to be here today.
Yay, I'm so happy you're here. And so for anybody who doesn't know what the heck we're doing, in light of all of this world corona adventure we're having, locally, as you might know, we're not yet able to have in-person events in the same way we used to be able to. And because the Dallas Psychic Fair is such a large event in general, our 50% capacity rule thing doesn't actually allow us to really serve our community in the way that we would prefer, because just the participants alone on an event day are near about 100 people. So we also have some other little hoops we have to jump through that right now it's just not, we're not able to do that. So we have been looking for ways to connect with you, our community, in this interim. And while we're building the virtual aspect of FAIR and getting all of those things put together in the way that we're needing to do that, we wanted to bring you just more connection in a different way. So we're doing that with these conversations. So normally we're airing on Thursdays live at 11 a.m. And it's turning up that, you know, life happens. And so some of them aren't happening on Thursday at 11. And that works out really nicely because then I get to see people and talk to people who might not be able to join me live on Thursday at 11. So how did we get so lucky?
Love it.
Yes. And so Amy, how long have you been with the Dallas Psychic Fair?
I have been with the Dallas Psychic Fair about 3.5 years, I think. So I've been working. It's been a great experience.
Awesome. So. And what was your adventure of getting into the fair, coming across the fair, or having that nudge from the universe to join?
Well, it was a big nudge. It was about the same time where I was like, oh, I need to serve a broader audience, and I need to put my face. You know, this is a scary thing for me, for the background. Even going live today on my own page is, you know, this is a big step. And so that was really, I was like, what can I do that's in person that is, I mean, so much of my business, I'd say 98% of my business is remote. So I was like, what can I do to really put a face on there? And then someone tagged the Dallas Psychic Fair one day. I don't even remember how it was. And I sent a note to Cheryl and I said, how do you get to be a reader? And she said, well, you got to go through a process and you got to get interviewed and then you have to do in person and you do all this. And then I was like, oh gosh, this is like a little scary. But it's been great because it's taught me so much. I mean, you do readings in 15-minute increments, and typically my sessions are about an hour. And so it really speeds up the amount of answers and the questions that people can answer. So it's been a great learning experience for me, and it's given me a broader audience. I mean, it's hard to set up 15-minute appointments, but people can kind of try that and then follow up later. So that's really a lovely thing.
Yes, it is a little bit of a, oh gosh, I don't know if challenge is the word, but it does get us on our toes to do those 15-minute interviews. And I actually kind of like that because it really, I don't know about you, but for me, what I found is it helped me hone my craft a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that.
It honed my craft, and then it also made me learn that you have to pre-schedule bathroom breaks because 15-minute increments from
life wisdom there, folks.
Right. From noon to 5:30, 6 o'clock. What was it? One time I did that and I was like straightened out the whole time. And there are some readers who can do that. I am not one of those. So, but it really helped me hone because, you know, sometimes there's some build-in, there's, you know, before that I would sort of get in touch with people's guides and like spend a little bit of time, but you can't, you just go straight in. And so it sort of refined and made it so that I could turn on a dime and I could say, okay, goodbye. Okay, we're with you. Okay, goodbye, we're with you. And it really helped as I sort of built my own practice, being able to go from one appointment to the next, and be in multiple places doing that. So
Awesome. Yes. And how was it to do? Did you find that, how do I ask this? Did your readings kind of get better as you played with that?
well, my readings over time have always gotten better. I mean, I think it's the beginning. I've been doing this for about 11 years. So from when I started, it gives you context, it gives you understanding, and then even meeting and working with other psychics. I mean, it's sort of, I don't know about you, but I sit in, in my office at home and I'm on the phone, and so, for hours doing that. And so you don't interact with other people, you interact with your clients. But talking to someone or sitting next to someone who was experiencing something you were doing, or trying to say, okay, so how did you solve for this? Or what was really great is, in my practice, I send out to a lot of people. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
do a lot, I give people a lot of homework. Like, working
Mm-hmm.
with me, people are like, oh, I'm like, yeah, it's not all like butterfly tears and unicorn kisses. You got to do some work afterwards.
Yeah.
So I can, in that moment, say, okay, go over there, go buy that stuff. Here's what you can do, and here's how it'll change your life. So that was actually really helpful, because I could give people an immediate action. Because sometimes, those of us, you get into something and it's, you go to a seminar, you go to a class, you go to anything, and you have this list of stuff, and you're like, yeah, I'm absolutely going to do it. And then you don't. But in that psychic fair environment, people could go and buy the stuff and get things done, and go get a past life regression, or talk to the person that needed a clearing, or go get some Reiki done, or some, so it was just, the environment is really great. And I'm hoping we can do that, one-on-one
Yes.
again, because now people have to,
Yeah.
get on themselves and really
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. I love that point. Because I do that too. I hadn't really thought about that, because it comes so, it's sort of an organic thing when you're there in that container
Mm-hmm.
with all of that kind of complementary modalities surrounding us.
Yeah.
And I do miss that. Oh my gosh, we miss our community. We dearly miss all of you so much. I miss being able to get hugs in
Yeah.
person.
I'm kind of, I lived in New York for 8 years. I kind of like a bubble around me. So I'm kind of, I
We're
personally
okay
am
with
like,
that
no,
part.
I don't need to touch people again.
Right.
But sorry, so that's, but just me.
I get it. I do get it. And it's just, there is something to be said about the in-person thing. And
Absolutely. I mean, I get a lot of people who call me and they have questions about their life, and they, oh, you got such good information. Now here's my dog, and I'm like, I don't do animals. If I did, I'd know what to do with my own animals, and I don't. So, but we have some great pets. I mean, we have some great animal psychics, and
yeah,
she's her name is out of my brain right now, but she's
Sandra's one of
lovely.
ours.
Yes,
And James
Sandra
is
is
another.
amazing. Sandra Larson, she is just a
Mm-hmm.
great pet psychic and really gives great insight. And so that's something
Yeah.
that I can't, that's not something that I even focus on. And
Yeah.
so to be able to say, okay, go to right there, the one that's
Yeah.
got the line of dogs in
Yeah.
front of her.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
see
and the
her.
nice thing is, at least since we have to be doing this different now,
Yeah.
we do have the folks can still visit the website, the
Mm-hmm.
DallasPsychicFair.com. And it's just Dallas Psychic Fair, not but DallasPsychicFair.com, and go to the pages to see people's information. So it is
Right.
different though, and I totally get that. And I love that point. There is that kind of uh, it builds momentum, and there's a bit of that, I would call it intensification, new word for
Yeah.
the day, just by having all of that energy in the room. So
Well,
yeah.
it's not so scary too, because a lot of folks, I don't know about you, but a lot of folks, they would sit down and be like this. I've never done this before. My
Right.
friend brought me and I don't know what to ask. And those were some of the most powerful questions, because it's a lot to pick up the phone. And, I
Yeah.
remember, 11 years ago, my first call to a psychic, and I thought, that's crazy. Why am I doing this? And so but it gives you such clear direction. It was so helpful and so
Yeah.
impactful to my life.
Yeah.
So that it gives such a little meaningful bites. And so I've been
Yeah.
trying to figure out how I can help people in that way.
Yeah. So now you mentioned your first picking up the phone.
Yeah.
In your life, just long before that moment,
Mm-hmm.
was this woo woo stuff a
No.
normal thing for you, or did it kind of put you off, or how was
A
your
little
experience
bit.
with it?
Okay, so here's the thing. We all think we're completely alike, everyone, and completely unique. And it doesn't matter if you're psychic or you're your baseball player or anything. We just all think we're completely unique. So I never thought to tell anyone, oh, do you sleep with lights on because you see people at night? Do you, when you go into a room, do you feel these things? It was just so I had night terror until I was 14, and it was the same dream every night. People were
Ooh.
running after me, trying to talk to me, giving me information. I was running away. So my parents would have to chase me around the house. And when I was 14, I turned around and said, please, I don't want you to talk to me. And they went away, never had the dream again. So, but I never talked to anyone about that. I never thought to think about that. So I thought I was completely normal. None of us are normal, and I'm really not normal. But, uh, so we got, so, so 11 years ago, let me do 11, yeah, 11 years ago, my oldest son was having some challenges, and I didn't know which way to go. I was really stuck. And we get into that's the beauty of the work that we do is we're able
Yeah.
to help someone get in that I don't know what to do and who can help me, and you can help someone in that place. Anyway, so I talked to a friend and I said, I don't know what to do. I can go this way and I can go that way. And each way is very expensive and each way is completely different. I don't know what to do. And she said, I call this person in New Hampshire and she gives me great information and she's $100 an hour. And I was like, well, I've spent more than that on a pair of shoes. And so why not? Because, you can scuff those in a minute. Might as well try it. So when I called her and she said, you can do everything that I can do. And I said, you're crazy. I have an MBA. I'm going to go run a company. I am not doing any of this, and you're Looney Tunes, basically. But then I was like, but you just gave me this great information about my kids. It was super helpful, and it was accurate, accurate, accurate. Um, so I was like, okay, whatever. And so when I called my friend back and I said, you have to hear this crazy stuff. And then I knew everything about her family. And I knew her child happened to be a nonverbal autistic child. And I knew everything going on in that little girl's body. And we sat on the phone. I remember I was sitting in the floor of my bedroom and we were like, I would say, okay, here's all the stuff. What is going on? 3 hours and I was blown away.
Wow.
So that's kind of how everything just opened up. And since then, I have been begrudgingly, and for my friends who are watching this, they know, begrudgingly walking into this path. And it's
Wow.
opening more and more because the only reason I do this, because it is hard. It is hard to get out there and say, this is what I do with my personal background and everything. So the only reason I do it is because of the person that I gave closure to after her boyfriend had died in a motorcycle a couple weeks ago, or the person who this week was really struggling with some business decisions. The fact that they go away and they send me these notes of like, I can finally sleep, or I know what I'm doing right now, or I can help my child, and thank you so much for giving my kid a kick in the pants where they needed to go. That's why I do it. And so there.
Wow. That is beautiful. And I'm so grateful that you just kind of put that right out there, because I know that in our, we can get so kind of into the momentum of it, that we kind of forget, that not everybody has ease with this. And
No.
yet at the same time, it's like for most of us, I don't know too many of us who cannot do this. Like we can't not do it. Like we
Right.
can't not be that, because it's just so much a part of who and how we are.
Yeah, I can't not give people information, but I sure do have to meditate every day to relax that I'm going to
Yeah.
do this. You know,
Yeah. And
I
it's not
have
about
no
staying in your
problem. I
lane.
could be on Zoom all day long, but Zoom about talking about this,
Uh-huh.
sharing that I'm doing this is
Uh-huh.
something that you know, it's just I'm doing this in service to others because that's the only reason.
Yeah. And do you find though that like it does bring you so much or
Oh,
something, if not so much, like
absolutely. So the one thing that I doesn't happen in my like I guess my private practice versus the Dallas Psychic Fair.
mhm,
So in the Dallas Psychic Fair, which was so cool, and I'm interested to talk to you about this and see if others this happened to.
uh-huh.
Um, you know, we could have, I don't know, was it like 20 sessions or something that you could have? I
Mhm.
forget, 24
I think
the whole time.
24 max, yeah.
Yeah, 24 max. So the one time I did that, never again, I had to go to the bathroom. But anyway, too much information. Um, anyway, so I usually, you know, I would do like 20 sessions. And if there was something I needed to know, it would be a theme. Did that ever happen to
Yes.
you? It was the
Yeah.
coolest thing. I would get a day of all this and I was like, enough, I'm listening. Like I get it. So, and it was never the same theme. The people didn't know each other. They were from all over, but it would be like I would get
Yes.
this message of do this or don't do this. And that I don't get in my private practice,
Yeah.
but that was something that was really cool. I noticed it
Yeah.
every time we had that.
Every time without fail. Yes, there was a theme that totally showed up and it was totally applicable to me as much so as it was to the people I was reading for. And I do love that because there was this, it was almost like funny to just almost like the universe was like, I dare you to disprove this, you know?
Right. Yeah. I was like, wait, how come you're talking about that? Do you guys know each other? Like, it was so weird. I remember one that was like back to back. And I do a lot with people in business and I do a lot with people with medical things, but
Mhm.
um, it would be like I'd have a theme of the day of like adrenal fatigue. I was like, I know I need to sleep more. Gosh, I'll take those vitamins. And then the next one would be about business and it would be all about some decision that I would need to make or do
Uh-huh.
something, but they had nothing to do with each other. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to the beautiful thing that I notice and I it's one of the things that just makes this so much fun is that there is no like hard fixed protocol for what we do
Nope.
because every single person is unique in this universe. And
Yep.
and I love that's another thing I loved about being in the fair atmosphere is that variety being there. And I think that was, you know, as we were saying earlier, there's a complementary aspect of that. And and everybody gets to choose, you know, what what lights up for them on any given day. That was a lot of fun. It's that's a cool thing to me. Um,
I
that
agree.
yeah, because you can even go to 6 readers with the same question and you get 6 different ways to look at something or 6 different pieces of insight about it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that is so cool.
Yeah.
um has there been a like most amazing thing or a truly like, you know, it got your attention and it spun your world around kind of moment for you with this with any of your experiences with working
I
with
have to
energy?
say, yes, but it's every session
Yeah.
because you know, the one thing that, oh my gosh, like we have Jordan Copeland who makes like the amazing Moonlight Apothecary stuff,
Yes.
and she believe, you know, like you and you're the same way, like, oh, you're a Cancer and Virgo and blah, blah. I know nothing like that. Like I am such a you know, like an
I know enough to be
uneducated in
dangerous.
those sense, right? I don't know any of it. So so there's all these people, but every time, believe me, every time I do a session, oh my gosh, I was doing a session last week and someone was asking really specific medical questions for someone who had been an advisor, and it was COVID related stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I got off the phone with that. Um, and then, um, and then, and then that was just really cool. And then I was talking to someone who it was just such a tragic story. They had lost a loved one in an accident, and and being able to give really, even what I was saying, they were like, that's exactly what they did for a job. And that's exactly what we did. Be able to give someone that closure. So I get off the phone
Yeah.
with after every one of my sessions just amazed,
Yeah.
because each one provides the person with exactly what they need. And so I work as a psychic, so people ask questions about work, life, family, home. I work as a medium, and those, oh gosh, when someone passes, it's such an incredible opportunity to give closure. And then medical, I get with lots of folks who have they've just struggled with things in their body for so long. And so that really, being able to give them closure. And then the business stuff is just like, it's such a great combination of my master's, my MBA, and my business, 20 years in marketing, and being able to give people some real direction on business things.
That
So
is really
it's
cool.
just all depends.
Yeah. That's kind of a cool package that you've put together. I mean, what a divine design, right?
I'm like, there's no other way to do it for me, because that's
Yeah.
so I just, when I do my readings, it just crosses all of the different things.
And so now you are working, as many of us are, you're working a kind of a job.
Oh, yeah.
And weaving this through that, how much of your energy woo, we'll call it our woo, because that's a fun word for me. And how much of that do you find you are using in your everyday life?
So this is a good question. My husband likes for me to tell people that I don't have X-ray vision, because I have, so right? You understand what I'm saying? So when people find out, and for those people who are watching and are like, oh my God, that Amy Hamilton that I know does this. The way that my information started coming in, it was like this floodgate. Like, some people work really hard to turn on it. I didn't. So my first 2 years, I took every class. I actually had to take one-on-one classes, because, by the way, they don't have classes on how to turn it off. Yeah. Everyone wants to turn this on, but they don't know how to turn it off. And I didn't. So I was feeling everyone's everything, and getting pretty sick. So I spent about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, taking lessons on how to shut it down, because I need the information when it comes in is so loud. Yeah. And so I spent, I mean, not that it's shut down in a bad way, but I'm really, really, really shut down in my everyday life, unless there's 2 caveats. Someone asks a question, or 3. Someone asks a question, 2. Their guides, and you'll appreciate this, are really forceful. Because then they're like, knock, knock, knock. They need to know this. And I'm like, please don't make me tell them. Please don't make me do this. This is weird. And then the third, which is, I've heard other people who are like, the third is when I have some alcohol, because then every inhibition is down, and it becomes a very interesting party game with people around the room crying. So sorry.
Not exactly something you list on your resume. We get that.
Definitely not. But my close friends know, and they're like, "Oh, guess what's gonna happen?" And then there's a couple of my friends who might be watching now who stay away from me. They're like, "I don't want any information. I can see that drink in your hand. Don't share anything with me."
And that's a part of the process too, isn't it? I mean, this is another thing I think a lot of people who kind of, if you're on the outside looking in, if you haven't really started to tap into your own woo factor.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people really kind of are aware that it takes some doing to navigate this, like, because the energy is loud. The whether it's coming from the guides or the other participants who are chiming in, and so for me, I can totally identify with that. And there is a process that each of us kind of have to find our way, that we can be able to be with all of that that's going on, that's not everybody else is seeing or is aware of, and still somehow conduct ourselves in a way
that we appear normal.
We don't appear insane. Yes. It's also part of the fun of it, and we can laugh about it in these moments. It's not always a laughing matter, but it's something that adds value to it for me, you know,
Yeah.
and it keeps me on my toes. I will say I appreciate that. So, um, so if there were for folks who are listening who might be, you know, having some of this,
Mm-hmm.
firstly, I'm so glad you're sharing that because I know that's a gift and a contribution to their question marks. And if someone was looking for a kind of a starter point, like do you have any of your go-tos that help you kind of like recalibrate and just sort of get present in the moment for you?
Okay, so well, I'll do two things. One is how I center myself now in the time of COVID is
Mhm.
completely different. And I
Okay.
can give some tips about that. And
Yeah.
then two, I'll give tips about if you want to develop this, if this is
Cool.
something you want to explore.
Yeah.
Because mine came in like a freight train, but everyone has gifts and everyone has that little voice, and there's ways to encourage that. So,
Yeah.
first, how do I center myself? One is in the time of COVID, because it is everything's uncertain. Everything. Like we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I was joking the other day, okay, we're almost out of July. Hopefully no aliens this month. Like what's coming in next? What's going to happen tomorrow? So I start my day with a meditation. And there's going to be like 90% of the people like, oh, I can't meditate. There's so many voices. That is why it's called a practice. Everyone practices. Some days you fail. Half the time I'm like, oh, I got to get, you know, things from I need milk. I need this, like you kind of voyage. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
great apps. There's 5-minute meditations. There's 30-minute meditations.
Yeah.
Um, there's a bunch on SoundCloud that are
Yeah.
lovely, and I would love if I'm putting together a list on my website, which is
Oh, great idea.
clearapath.com, of
Yeah.
that. But it would be great to be on the Dallas Psychic Fair, just if there's
You could
folks that
totally do that. Yeah.
folks do that. um, but I love hold on, gotta pull it out. I have an app of meditations. So Insight Timer is a free app, and it's got great meditations. You pick the time that you do that, and it's got guided ones, and they've got lots of different phones. um, Deepak Chopra has one called
Mhm, mhm.
Ananda Kids, which is great for kids. So start my day with a meditation, and that just puts you in the right spot, and that helps give you some grace for all the craziness that might happen during the day. So that's what I've been doing. I was didn't do it as consistently before COVID, and I just feel like it's absolutely has to happen. And then the second part, which is how can people develop? There's lots of schools out there. And there's lots of things that apply to different people. And there's in-person ones, and there's Zoom ones, and there's books. I love books. I've got millions. This is just the top of it. But there is so many different options. I personally love, because I do readings very similar to him. I love James Van Prague's. He has a School of Mystical Arts, and they do a great job of really explaining things. But
Mhm,
there's Sonia Choquette has some classes that are online.
mhm.
There's just a whole host of different things that are available in this time. So, and
Cool.
a lot of them are introductory classes. So I love
Yeah.
those.
And that brings us to something. I'm glad you brought up the difference between with you know, before COVID. And, um, what are some things you've noticed, either, you know, in your sessions or certainly in your own life or both?
Yeah.
Um, and what are you finding some of the themes that are coming up
Yep.
with your readings?
So it was interesting. So it's been in phases. So the first was the group was how to deal with uncertainty. People were
Hmm.
calling,
Hmm.
and how to sort out. This is just an overall great lesson on dealing with uncertainty.
Yeah.
So there was almost everything had some undercurrent of that, and working with someone on how to. Oh, I forgot something. I'll go back to undercurrent on how to calm people down
Yeah.
for that. Then, and for the biggest group of time, except for just like the last week, which I think is really interesting. So, for the biggest group of time, doesn't matter what reading it's been, any session, anything, it's about that the time of COVID is a time of great healing, which sounds really bizarre. But the
Mm-hmm.
healing that's been happening is
Mm-hmm.
through bringing up the hardest lesson in your life.
Yeah.
If you were forced to do a lesson on uncertainty, everything in your life is going to be uncertain until you say, I'm okay with uncertainty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if your thing is control, it's just everything's being brought up. And so what I have come to figure out is that this is a time of great healing if you listen and you take advantage of this fabulous time. But great healing is coming right now through a ton of pain. So, and it gets louder and louder. And for a while, I used to joke. I didn't ever want to learn with the big stick. Don't hit me again. I promise I'll learn it this time. So, right now, we've all got the big stick.
I love that.
And if we can calm down, focus, and pick that one thing and take what I tell you to do in my sessions and do them. Sorry. Um, then you're gonna heal and you'll get better, and then you're gonna come out amazing. Like we're going to, as a people, be so much stronger if you address these challenges. And
Yeah.
so that's what I feel the overall theme, and it's been carried through so many times. If you needed to heal your body's getting sicker right now because it's time to go to those doctors. It's time to take care of yourself. It's time to take the vitamins. It's time to walk and work out and do those things, right? It's
Yes.
not easy, but you have to do them.
Yeah.
So then that's the biggest group, and that's still, those people are still filtering in. But now I've got a group that's working on healing modalities and new techniques and things like that, which is
Love that.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Nothing on prevention, but everything on what to do once you get it and then how to heal afterwards. So
Wow.
I don't know how all these people are finding me, but it's very interesting.
We could guess. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Maybe.
um, that is really awesome. And wow, I love, really that paradoxical thing is always so fascinating to me. Um, as you're saying, it's a time to heal. Like that's been a huge message with mine as well. And yet, that we love to resist what's right there for us, and all of us
Mm-hmm.
do it. I mean, nobody's immune from that part. And it is a practice. I think it's a self practice as well as we get to practice this practice
Right.
too. So yeah, it's and I'm also getting a lot of, not putting the focus on what is looks like,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
trusting,
Mm-hmm.
really leaning into that intuitive self,
Yep.
trusting that part way more than what we see. Are
Yeah.
you having some of that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I was actually just about to say it as you started to talk. So, what the imagery that I've been trying to talk to is, and you're welcome to try it. Just close your eyes real quick and imagine that thing. You put your hands out and imagine the thing that you've been carrying. Just hold it there, look at it, see what color it is, shape, all of that stuff, and then let it go. Give it over to whoever your higher power is. Sit there and imagine it leaving. Imagine your hands feeling lighter. Imagine it floating away. It's never in your control, but move that and let it go. And take a deep breath. And now you can open your eyes when you want to.
I love that. And that's such a beautiful way to recenter too. Like I notice
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here now, even more. I love that we can do that.
Yeah, because it's not ours to control,
Exactly.
especially the hard things.
Yeah.
And so the more that we let go, the more we can move into the flow of abundance. Because as one of my teachers, Danielle Vaughn, has taught me, is that it's right here. there's this great flow of abundance. It's right here, and so many of us just let it pass. Like you think you see all these people with these fabulous flows of abundance that just kind of fly by, and sometimes all you have to do is move over into it. And
Yeah.
so now that's all. But we feel like it's the same thing. I was driving my son to just did learning Instagram right now. So I just did a post the other day, and I was driving my son to school, not to school, but to football practice, and I was running late and all this stuff, and I'm running, and he said to me, he goes, "Mom, look up, there's a rainbow." And I was like, how did I miss it? We miss things like that all the time
That's
because
profound.
we're right. I mean, and so the abundance flow is there.
Yeah.
It is absolutely there. And so it's just about stepping into it.
I love that. It's just about stepping into it. Yeah. Step in, lean in, choosing into, um, and one of the big pieces of all of this right now is exactly that. The thing that makes us think we can't isn't the thing that makes us not be able to. It's actually just what the power we gave it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We really are more powerful than we can imagine.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and
Yeah.
and I think one thing, and I wanted to go back because I did forget one thing
Ah,
about that helps people right now. So, um, because people are opening up right now, because people are feeling everything, they're feeling everyone's everything, and I am seeing, and I'm sure you are, a lot more people who are coming in and being called an empath or whatever. They just feel, and especially, oh my goodness, especially the 20-year-olds. The
mhm.
20-year-olds I've been seeing, I mean, I feel like right now, sometimes my target audience is moms who want their kids to do something and they send them to me. um, so I've got this whole 20-year-old path, and they suddenly feel everyone's stuff. And so it's really important. I was imagining for a while that you cover yourself in a bubble
Mhm.
and you only have your energy in. But I've moved that to the time of COVID to a morph suit. So, those morph suits that people wear and they
Yeah.
cover their whole body? If
Yeah.
you imagine yourself every morning putting on your own personal morph suit and
Ooh.
just having your energy in,
Yeah.
you can notice what's going on around you and you don't feel it. So I have so many medical clients who will go to doctor after doctor after doctor because and they'll say, "You look fine, your blood works fine, you're all good." And it's because they stand, I'm just using as an example, but they're standing next to Keisha. Keisha has a stomach ache, and then they
Mhm.
feel Keisha's stomach ache, and they try to, Keisha, you can get rid of your stomach ache because you ate something bad, right?
Yeah.
But I can't because I have nothing in my
Exactly.
system. So the
Exactly.
more people keep their energy in their own morph suit and cover it up and just imagine that it's in there, pick a color for your morph suit every day, whatever you want it to be, and you walk through life, meditation, morph suit, and then you go, you're going to feel so much better.
Nice.
That's
Very nice.
nice.
Yes. Wow. And this is just part of why people love playing with you. I know.
Oh.
um, so you have something coming up, I believe you mentioned,
Yes, so
that
it's
I
in
would
the
love for you to share with everybody.
Okay, so it's in the planning stages, and I'm doing a fundraiser for a not for profit that I am on their board with. It's called the Extraordinary Lives Foundation. It's based out of California, and they help children and adolescents with mental health issues. And so we are doing a Zoom gallery. I believe it's on August 22nd. And so that is the Extraordinary Lives Foundation. So you can check them out on Facebook. They just do fabulous. I'm trying to look if I have some of their stuff. It's too
I
far
can put
away.
I'll tag
Okay.
their page in the post.
Okay.
I'm going to edit this post to
And
include your
so
page too.
we'll be doing that August 22nd. And so we've got that coming up. And then I'm always available, Clearer Path.
Yep.
And follow me on Instagram. I'm learning. It's painful. That's Amy Hamilton Helps.
Oh my goodness. I know. Instagram is like every social media platform is a creature unto itself. It's so
Yes.
amazing. and you have to feed the creature. Like it's just
I'm working on the creature. I'm working on the Instagram creature.
oh my goodness. And of course, people can find you on the Dallas Psychic Fair. You
Absolutely.
have a page there as well, and with
Mm-hmm.
your contact information. And so, folks, if you want to have some time with Amy privately, you can totally do that virtually as well. Gosh, Amy, is there any? I love so much of what we've said today. This is what you've
Yeah.
shared.
I just want to thank you. I mean, that's the only thing because
Oh,
you've kept this alive. This is such a challenging time and things are really changing. And so for you to be doing these, just so grateful to be able to get all of our readers, their voices out there, even though some really like are scared of this environment and really it's all new.
yeah,
But just thank you for doing all the work and keeping it up. And your energy out there is just such a gift because she is, by the way, always this happy, always this giving, always this lovely. And so it's really lovely to be around
thank
you. So
you.
thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. It is my honor. And we could not all be here without the beautiful invitation from Cheryl Andrea, who is our fearless leader and creator of all things Dallas Psychic Fair. And um, I'm so grateful that she was cool with this idea because it is a way for us to connect as well as for all of us to connect with you, our community, which is something that we dearly love doing. So for now, we can do this virtually, and we are, and we will continue to do that with cosmic cups of tea and conversations. Um, and you can play with us at any time in between if you want to visit us on the Dallas Psychic Fair website, or you can visit us here on the Facebook, our Facebook pages. So I will tag Amy's pages and the foundation that you mentioned in today's post. Gosh, let me see if there's any questions that are hanging out here. Um, let's see, let's see. We've got a whole bunch of hellos. Thank you, everybody who has been hanging out with us. This is amazing. I mean, we do this to connect with you, but it also shares something with us. It's a major contribution to us when you come and play too. So please know that you are a valuable part of these conversations. Um, we're just getting to have the fun of sharing everybody with you right now. So, all right, Amy, is there anything that just kind of feels like it wants to be said in closing, like it wants to be shared?
No, I mean, oh, and I'm going to completely put you on the spot. Yes. I have not planned this, and she is able to say no, everyone. So, one of Keisha's amazing things is she can sing. She's like, I'm going to kill you. She knows what I'm
No,
going to ask.
actually, I'm getting used
Okay.
to this.
Is
I'm
that
learning
what?
to lean in.
Okay, well, lean in and give us a blessing, please.
All right. Oh, thank you, Amy. Okay, let's see. For today, what is asking to be spoken to? Shiron pron kleran fialaruay yuen. Namaste, my beautiful friend,
Namaste. Thank you.
and namaste to all of you. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.